Probably. That way I can draw. I can do my drawings. No? So what?
You're live.
Oh, we're live, Zach. Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome here into our stream this afternoon on CBS19 Plus and our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page. We're going to talk about our weather impact, and for tonight, what that weather impact is, well, it's the Lyrid meteor showers. Overnight tonight, it peaks in the overnight hours. You got to stay up really late to see this, between 3 and 4 a.m. It will, at least the constellation for which it rises from, will rise right after sunset tonight. But the moon's going to be fairly bright. Because of the brighter moon, it may be a little tougher to see that, especially headed toward the early morning hours tomorrow. So at least our sky will be clear. That's good, right? We never usually get a clear sky when these things happen. It usually clouds over. I mean, there will be some clouds by tomorrow morning, but at least for the early part of the overnight hours, we're looking at generally clear skies. All right, here's a drawback that we do have, and I'll point this out here. It is that a waning crescent moon. That's going to be rather bright and kind of strong in the sky. And another thing, maybe as a detractor, will be this most active right before dawn, so 3, 4 a.m. And if you are going to be out, look in the eastern sky for the Lyrid meteor shower peaking tonight. So a chance to get outside. All right, so we're going to have an active week of weather coming up here in the next few days. And what is it? Well, we're counting this. We've got 1 storm, 2 storms, 3 storms. All right, so these are all going to move through the central plains in the next few days. So this one will kick through Wednesday. This one will come through Thursday. Then this one will come through Friday. So you've got 3 storms back to back to back, keeping us in somewhat of a rainy weather pattern, especially starting Wednesday. And I'll go over that in just a second. You'll be able to see these little storms here on our storm strength. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring spin in the atmosphere on this graphic here. All right, so we'll throw this into motion, and you can see this little area right there. See a little area of spin? Right here's one of those. Okay, that's area number 1. Spins through, showers, a couple thunderstorms. Severe weather threats rather low with this for us. Doesn't mean that we couldn't have 1 or 2 storms that would produce some gusty winds or maybe some small to medium-sized hail. But essentially, your flow aloft is just sort of wavy. It's not real strong, especially for late April. That's kind of unusual. So that's the first storm that goes by Wednesday right there. Then we have the second one that will pass by Thursday. So here it comes. I'll circle it for you when it gets here. All right in here. Again, nothing super potent, not even as strong as what we saw over the weekend, but scattered showers, thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, and then a final wave coming by on Friday. Kind of elongated, stretched out, leaning more to the east. So again, this one, though, may produce the heaviest rain of them all. Friday into Friday night. Fortunately, it does clear out in time for our Urban Kids Fishing Derby Saturday morning. So that's good news for us. All right, so then let's talk about future skycast. I'll put this into motion. You'll see there's wave number 1 of rain coming in on Wednesday right there. And that goes by. There are a couple of downpours. You'll see some yellows here. So a couple downpours possible with that first wave. Second wave comes through Thursday, especially Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Then we go into Friday. We have that next little wave coming in from the north. That likely will expand in coverage as we head through the day Friday and then ending Friday night. All right, then a little closer look at this from our future skycast. This is going to be zoomed in. Tomorrow afternoon, some outdoor events. I think we're going to be fine in Tyler. This is 4 p.m. There might be an isolated shower. I did throw in a 20% chance of rain for that isolated shower. I don't think it becomes anything more widespread than just an isolated shower and likely doesn't reach Tyler. But what we see is a warm front moving northward. That warm front could kick up a couple showers, but by Wednesday morning, that warm front's all the way up close to the Red River. So as that warm front moves to the north, we get nice southerly flow in here. That's increasing the moisture, increasing the humidity around the area. And then we kick it into gear in Wednesday afternoon. Look at these widespread showers, thunderstorms. Again, a little pocket of this darker red here could produce a little bit of hail, a downpour of rain for sure. Maybe some gusty winds coming out of that, but the overall severe threat looks rather low. That does move off to the south Wednesday night. Thursday, we get a little bit of a break. By Thursday afternoon, we've got some scattered showers and thunderstorms just starting to develop around western Louisiana, but I think they'll expand back farther to the west heading into Thursday afternoon. Thursday night, there will be another round on Friday. And then Friday, finally, those showers and thunderstorms will move on out. So that'll certainly help us out for the Urban Kids Fishing Derby Saturday morning over at Walter Park. Rainfall amounts, we were issuing a weather impact alert for the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. An inch to inch and a half to 2 inches of rainfall. The subsequent data continues to come in here. We're looking at less and less rain. So maybe an inch of rain. Again, nothing too significant, but there could be some ponding on roadways. Certainly lower visibility in some of these heavier showers, especially Thursday and during the day Friday, and then ending Friday night. So here's the Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital 7-day forecast. Again, we're looking at weather impact alert Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 90 to 60 to 80% chance of rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Dry over the weekend. The little yellow fish there is the CBS19 Urban Kids Fishing Derby. Walter Park, 8:30 to noon on Saturday. So it looks like the event is going to stay dry, though I think the ground will be muddy. All right, let's talk about our next severe weather setup. That is occurring middle part of next week, not this week, next week, so about 9 to 10 days out. So what are we looking at here? Well, let me point out a couple of things. One, you've got a fairly what we will call meridional flow in the upper level jet stream pattern. So we got a big trough, carves out a big low pressure area. Then with some warming, we'll have a lot of energy. So this whole area of brown, this is just thunderstorm energy, what we call convective available potential energy. Potential energy, if you remember from physics class, if you're holding the ball above the ground, it has potential energy. Once it hits the ground, it exercises its kinetic energy and it releases that energy. So this is all the energy that's pent up in the atmosphere next week, waiting for something to make it pop or burst. At the same time, we've got surface winds coming in out of the southeast, and the area in green here, winds aloft out of the southwest. What does that do? That can promote some turning in the atmosphere. I know I'm scribbling all over this, but can promote some twisting and turning in the atmosphere. If that happens, you have more conducive updrafts. They can support and last longer. That could lead to larger hail production. It could also lead to a couple of thunderstorm warnings and or a tornado warning. So again, it's 8-9 days out. So we're not super, I'm going to say excited about it, but not super hyped up about it. We got to wait and see how things play out, how it sets up. But that's the potential setup showing up in the longer range data. So again, that would be April 29th through May 1st, essentially next Tuesday to next Thursday. Rain, thunderstorms impact that probably be more likely. Hail, high winds, and tornado potential would be there if we get the setup just right. So you can keep up to date with the forecast, have at least 2 ways to get those warnings and know your safe place. And this all falls in line with the forecast we talked about going all the way back to, I think if you recall, right after the first significant severe weather set up in early April. The weather quieted down, but we were looking out 3-4 weeks in advance. We were using something called our long-range pattern cycling weather pattern theory, and also data from the Weather Prediction Center. And using those two sources, we were forecasting in that 3 to 4 week time period above average rainfall with an uptick in severe weather, and we are certainly seeing that occurring here as we head again toward the end of April and into the beginning of May. All right, so again, we were talking about the Lyrid meteor showers, which will be peaking tonight after midnight, most likely tomorrow morning between about 3 and 4 a.m. Visibility should be good for that in terms of the sky. A bright crescent moon, however, may limit being able to see. But look out to the eastern horizon very early tomorrow morning and maybe get a glimpse of those meteors. Good thing it's not peaking tomorrow night into Wednesday because clouds move back in and we've got several showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to talk more about those coming up on CBS 19 News at 5 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.